So hold up. How many in your lifetime, how many divorce proceedings, I think that's the term, how many divorces have you orchestrated, do you think?
Over 1,000.
Oh gosh.
Over 1,000. I was adding them up. Yeah, I was adding them up recently.
Wow.
I started doing divorce work in 2007. So 15 years of several a month, do the math, carry the one, comes out to over 1,000 divorces. So
how are you not jaded about love after doing 1,000 divorces?
Nelson Mandela got a fucking divorce. He got out of jail after 27 years of torture, spent 6 months with his wife, and said, I can't take this shit no more.
What's funny is that's part of the genesis of prenups.com is, the first several years, when I got into divorce work and realized what it was really like, I started telling all of my friends and family and anyone who would listen, like, do not get married. Like, just don't get married. You can throw a party. You can invite all your friends. You can wear a white dress if that's your thing. Throw rice in the air. You can change your last name if that's your thing. But do not actually get legally married because you have no idea what you're signing up for. I mean, marriage it's the most important financial contract you will ever sign in your life, and nobody's ready. And
thank you for saying that.
And so I was telling people, don't get divorced. And me, myself, I hadn't been married when I started doing this work. I was pretty much anti-marriage. And then I met my future wife. And at the time, she was anti-marriage as well. She was coming off a divorce herself. And so we were both like, all right, cool. We're not getting married. And then, as time went on, we wanted to start our own family. And we came around to the idea of getting married. And I was like, okay, how can we do this and avoid the pitfalls and problems that I've seen, hundreds of my clients go through over the years? And that's basically, I sat down and was like, okay, what are all of the problems that couples have? Arguing over money, people not having their own money, unhealthy power dynamics. So with the way that couples treat their money during the marriage, not having clarity, on what do you do when one spouse is a spender and one is a saver? How do you address those kinds of things? Issues where one spouse wants to go to counseling, the other one doesn't.
My life is here.
And my life is there.
So, break up?
No, we just want to fight a little more until we fall in love again.
And that spouse comes around, and the first spouse is over the idea of counseling. And we basically wrote down a set of rules for how we were going to manage our relationship. And that turned into our prenup that we wrote for ourselves. She's a lawyer as well, getting married. And then we started telling folks about that. And we realized I got to share this around because other people need to know about this. Because you're exactly right. I was jaded on the idea of marriage, not the long-term relationship of marriage itself. But it can be done right. It can be done better than a lot of people do.
Wow. Do you believe that everyone should have a prenup?
I believe everyone should have a prenup. Yes.
And if you miss the window on the prenup, do you recommend a postnup?
It's never too late. Yeah, you can get a postnup. I mean, there's I think there's only 2 states that don't allow postnups. But it's a matter of time. They will come around soon enough. I mean, when I hear, we don't want a prenup, we don't want a postnup, I hear we don't want a plan for our marriage. I'm not saying you have to put it down in writing, but it helps. You should have the tough conversations. You should have a plan in place for how you manage your finances rather than just, get married and, hoping that fate and love will figure it out.
After over 42 years together, my parents are pretty blunt about the simple math behind marriage. They've always said, sure, it's fair to expect to be happy most of the time. But then they remind us that technically, most is only 51%. It reminds me of this viral article my friend Emma wrote, where she questions whether being happily married is even realistic. I mean, even Michelle Obama admitted she couldn't stand Barack for 10 years.
And people think I'm being catty by saying this. It's there were 10 years Well, I couldn't stand my husband.
So if we're revisiting our understanding and expectations of marriage, why don't we do the same for prenups? Instead of thinking of it as an airbag that protects you when your marriage crashes, maybe we should see it more like a seatbelt. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Cashing Out the Podcast. To see more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to turn on your notifications. To get your copy of Cashing Out the book, visit Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, or download the audiobook on Audible.